And welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Society of Geneva. We seek to meet you wherever you are on your journey and invite you to be part of this congregation in which we draw wisdom from all the world's religions, balanced with the insights of modern science. We seek to build a diverse, beloved community within our virtual walls and hope to inspire and accompany one another as we act for peace and justice in our larger world. I am the Reverend Scott Hall, and it is my great pleasure to welcome our guest this morning, Bhante Sujatha. I first met Bhante almost 10 years ago when he came and spoke during a Sunday service at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Frederick. To be perfectly blunt, my understanding of Buddhism at that point was pretty superficial. Not that I'm all that adept now, but I remember thinking, this is something I need to know more about. So this is something that might change me, which brings us to today. Our guest is the abbot of the Blue Lotus Temple up in Woodstock, Illinois. Originally from Sri Lanka, Bhante has been a practicing monk for over 30 years. He's been called the UU monk for his long relationship with our tradition. He's also known as the loving kindness monk because of his singular focus on adding more love to the world. Bhante teaches loving kindness meditation to people around the globe for all those seeking the art of happiness and contentment. Now, his approach to meditation is deep and simple, bringing core Buddhist teachings in a way that is practical and easy to understand. A joyful, radiant, funny, and wildly energetic person, I have found Bhante to be that most rare and wonderful of things. A truly kind person, and we are blessed and honored to have him with us today.
Okay, good morning, everybody. First, we are going to do the meditation. Please find a comfortable posture. Keep your back straight as much as you can. Gently close your eyes. Take few deep, long breaths and relax your whole body. Please do it few times. Experience relaxation and peace. Feel harmony with your body. Feel close to yourself. Now send your loving thoughts towards yourself, thinking, I am well, I am happy, I am peaceful. I am well, I am happy, I am peaceful. Understand the meaning of each word clearly and deeply, then repeat it to yourself. I am well, I am happy, I am peaceful. If you know how to love yourself, it is much easier for you to love others. In this moment, understand power of self-caring, self-love. Having loving motivation towards yourself, now slowly turn your attention to the subtle sensation of the breath. Every breath you take in, you take out, is taken mindfully. Focus on your natural, ordinary breaths. If you are distracted by a thought or a feeling or a sensation, bring your attention back gently but firmly to the spot where you experience that subtle sensation of the breath. Mind wanders. That is the nature of the mind. Don't go against it. Controlling your mind is not meditation. Observing your mind, understanding your mind is the meditation. You cannot breathe last moment. You cannot breathe the next moment. Only this moment. Live in the present moment. Now observe your mind, observe your body. Your body is relaxed, your mind is calm, tranquil, and peaceful. Make a strong determination to practice meditation every day, regularly, with diligence and patience. Understand how important this meditation practice. Keep yourself well, happy, peaceful, and balanced. May peace be with you. May you be well. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. Choose loving kindness. Thank you very much. Please open your eyes. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Happy to see you all virtually. Today, I'm so grateful, Reverend Scott, who invited me for this program. Many years of your noble friendship. I'm so grateful for that. Thank you so much. And also in introduction, as you said, people call me Yu Buddhist monk because my Blue Lotus Buddhist temple in Woodstock, it is old Yu congregation, is the church. It is 120 years old church building. I was teaching meditation 9 years at that building. After 9 years later, they announced they are going to sell it. So they are moving away. And so they offered, how about you purchase the building? So however, people who meditated with me, all the local people, they supported. Within 3 weeks, we got the building. Now it is the Blue Lotus Buddhist Temple. So after I get the building, everybody was thinking I was taking everything down and make it to the Buddhist temple. I said, last 9 years, I used to live with Jesus, and therefore rest of my life, I can live with him, no problem. And so now if you come to the Blue Lotus Buddhist temple, it will look like a church. But the beauty of my temple, one side of the sanctuary, 10 feet tall Buddha standing, other side of the temple, 14 feet tall Jesus standing. And so that is the beauty of the Blue Lotus temple. I call this is the only temple or the church in the whole world, Buddha and Jesus standing side by side and practicing loving kindness and mindfulness together. And so I prove to the world there are lots of conflicts in the world and people are killing each other, name of the same God. And so I prove to the world, no matter who we are, no matter what tradition we are following, we can practice loving kindness and mindfulness under the same roof, respecting and accepting each other differences. So therefore, when you have some time, you are not far from me. So please come to Blue Lotus Temple, have a visit, that because it is your all UU church. So still we have the UU feeling there too. So thank you so much. I really feel connected to the UU people because they supported me a lot in the beginning of my journey. So my wisdom today, in the beginning of my meditation journey here in Woodstock, there were 15, 20 people were practicing meditation with me. I was teaching basic meditation, like mindfulness meditation, focus on the breath, those kind of stuff. After a year later, I was kind of trying to feel and what is going on around the community and my meditation group. I felt something not right. I don't know what it is, but I felt something not right. So then I don't know what it is. Then I gave them opportunity to sit down with me in a personal level because I didn't have many people, like 20 people. I gave each person 15 minutes to talk to me. So after I listening to these people as a group, when they meet as a group, they are loud, they are happy, they are joyful, they are joking to each other. But when I'm sitting with them individually, and I realize they are emotional, they are sad, they are telling their stories and their challenges and difficulties. After I listening to all those 20 people, I realize we all human beings, no matter who we are carrying self-hatred and anger. But in a public place, we cannot see those challenges and difficulties because people know how to keep them somewhere else in public. So even they have all those difficulties, I realize they know how to smile. It is the beautiful thing. Even you have all the challenges, you know how to smile. When I see their smile, then I realize there is a possibility. That's why they are smiling. I call tiny little Buddha inside them. That's why they are smiling. So my job as a monk to help them to take that beautiful tiny Buddha outside. So then I was thinking, we all have wounded minds. Some are childhood experiences, some are very old, and they don't know what to do with those wounded minds. Then I was thinking, best medicine I can give them how to practice loving kindness. how to practice loving kindness, heal their this wounded mind. Then one Saturday morning, what I did, still we have 10 to 11 Saturday morning meditation. I asked people, today I am going to change the meditation technique. We are going to practice loving kindness meditation. Then everybody said, yay, we are so excited. I think America is a very excited nation. That's why we are in trouble. We get so excited. And so they don't know what is coming anyway. Then I was guiding them like today, loving kindness meditation. I am well, I am happy, I am peaceful. May all of my family members be well, happy, and peaceful. May all, human beings be well, happy, and peaceful. May all beings be well, happy, and peaceful. I was guiding them like 20 minutes. 20 minutes later, I asked people, how do you like it, loving kindness meditation? In the beginning, everybody was so excited. But when I asked that question, they said, okay, that's okay. So what is that means? It is not okay. So then everybody said, it is difficult, it is challenging, it is take time. I totally understand. There was a woman, I know her a few years. She's coming to meditation every Saturday morning. When she come to meditation, all day Saturday morning, she bring me a Starbucks coffee. So then that's how I get my morning coffee Saturday morning, because that's her tradition. She's bringing me a Starbucks coffee. So that morning also I got her a Starbucks coffee. So it is next to me. I can see my friend, this lady, she's not happy today. Then I ask her, how do you like about loving kindness meditation? Then right away she looking at me, she's sitting in front of me and she said, I hate loving kindness meditation. Then I was thinking she's joking. Then I asked her, are you joking? I don't know what I'm talking about. No, I'm not joking. I don't like your loving kindness meditation. Now I can see she's angry. Then I asked her, why you don't like loving kindness meditation? Then she said, it doesn't make any sense what you said. I asked, what is that? You said practice self-love in the beginning. I don't like it. Because if I practice self-love, that means I'm selfish. I don't want to practice self-love, but I can practice love for other people. Then I said to her, I don't believe it. If you don't know how to love yourself, how you are going to love other people? She said, I can do it. Now she's arguing with me. Then I asked, give me an example. Then she said, I'm coming to this church last 15 years. We have a homeless, shelter program. And she said, I'm the one coordinating that program. Every Wednesday and Thursday, I'm helping homeless people. That means I'm adding more love to the world. I'm not selfish to think about myself. And also she said, according to my religious background and according to my cultural background, self-love is not acceptable. So always our tradition, people say, don't be selfish and love other people, don't be selfish. So I felt she's confused. Then I said, I don't believe it. If you don't know how to love yourself, it's very difficult to love other people. Then I said, let me ask this. You want to give me a gift. Now you can imagine, okay? So in Christmas days, Christmas coming, you want to give me a gift. After you give me a gift, what is your expectation? This is a good thing to consider right now. I think after you give me a gift, I know your expectation. You want to see the excitement. I'm so happy about your gift. You want to hear the word thank you. Then she said, if you don't say thank you, then I said to her, if I don't say thank you to you, how do you feel? So I'm asking you to just think about it, no need to answer. If I don't say thank you to you after you give me a gift, how do you feel? Maybe you feel bad, you feel angry, not appreciated. And then I asked that question from her. She said, right away, she was angry anyway. She said, you are a terrible Buddhist monk. Then I said, thank you so much. I can handle that. And so then I asked her, giving this gift to me, are you practicing loving kindness meditation for this monk? Then she said, that's why I spend my money. I said, no, You are not practicing loving kindness. I'm very sorry to say this. I know my words were so strong. I said, you are the most selfish person in the world. That's what I said. I know it is hurting, but it is okay. I can handle that. I said, you are the selfish person in the world. If you truly love me, you can give me many gifts. But my responsibility is say thank you and appreciate. But if you have expectation, something wrong. That means you didn't give the gift yet. Emotionally, you are connected to it. You don't want to let it go, your expectation. So right after I say you are the most selfish person in the world, she didn't like it at all. She was so mad. She get up and grabbed her purse and yelled at me, you are not loving kindness monk. I never come to this building again. I'm walking away. She stormed out. Then everybody was kind of looking at me, Bhante, what you did? I said, everybody calm down, let me handle it. I know how to handle those situations. So anyway, she left. Then after she leaves, I said to people, when I was in Australia as a young monk, so somebody walking by me and throw me $20 in front of me. Now think about summer day, you are outside waiting, somebody throwing some money to you. How do you feel? You feel embarrassed. Maybe you think people may think I'm a homeless person, and looking at your clothes. And so when I see that $20, actually I was so happy. Why? I got a donation. How wonderful. That's how monks are living, by donations. So therefore, I thought somebody gave me a donation, gift. What I had to say now, say thank you to this person. Then I turned my head to say thank you. I saw one young man walking from the distance. I didn't have time to say thank you. He didn't wait for thank you. He just walked away. Then that moment I was thinking to myself, that's the best gift I ever received. Why? There is no expectation, no rewards. Pure giving, pure love, pure generosity. So I shared that story with the community that morning. Then I went home. In the evening, it is so funny, this story. In the evening, I got a long email from that lady. How bad you are. You hurt my feeling. You know, why you did that to me in front of all the people. And so I don't like you anymore. And I feel, hurt. Then I sent a very nice and kind email. My friend, I'm very sorry if you feel hurt. That's not my intention. I felt you are not telling me the truth. I feel you have wounded mine. Tell me the truth. So then she sent me another email. No, I don't like you. You hurt my feeling. It's going so bad. Then I sent another kind email to her. Then she sent me another negative email to me. I sent another kind one to her. Now back and forth, I'm sending kind one. She's sending in the negative ones. After few emails, I realized she's not learning. Now she's pushing my buttons. Okay. Practicing loving kindness does not mean practicing foolishness. So that's the lesson. Practicing loving kindness does not mean practicing foolishness. Then I thought I have my limits. Then I sent the last email to her. It is totally fine. This is my last email to you. I don't think you will get the lesson. I don't want to communicate with you. I don't write you, but if you want to write, that's your responsibility, but I don't want to read or response. So then, now she keeps sending me emails, but I'm not responding. I'm not reading. I just deleting them. Few months later, I got the last email from her. Subject line says, Bhante, be kind. Please read. Okay. Then that moment I felt I want to read this email. I open it. I'm keep reading this email. It's a long letter. I felt I'm crying, all the tears going down. This is the story. This is the wounded mind. She was telling me the story, Bhante, today is my 40th birthday. When I was 10 years old, I used to live in Los Angeles with my mother. My mother is a single woman, drug addict and alcoholic. She abused me. She hurt me. I hate her. And when I was teenager, we moved to Illinois. We lived to this area. After I turned into 18, I totally separate from my mother. 18 to 40, I didn't meet, I didn't talk, I didn't see my mother. Why? I am so angry with her. I am angry with myself. I don't know what to do. I totally separated. Today is my 40th birthday. I realize I am by myself. I don't have friends. I feel I am in pain mentally and physically. I think this is the time to let go. I was thinking about you, what you said. I'm ready to let go. The word she used, but Bante, I want to surrender. Right after I let go and surrender, I felt so good about myself. I felt so much love towards myself. I felt so much love towards my mother. And I'm so grateful, Bante. Thank you so much. I made my own birthday gift for my 40th birthday. What I did, I am ready to let go my negativities. Then I sent a nice email to her. I'm totally happy about you. Continue your practice, but I didn't ask her to come back to the temple. That's not my job. It is open to public. So then I continue my journey. One Saturday morning, I'm getting ready for meditation. So then I saw handicap door open. I saw elderly woman using a walker try to walk into the meditation hall. I hold the door. I try to help her. Then I saw somebody coming from a car. I recognized that person right away. That is the daughter, that lady who were arguing and fighting with me. She go and found the mother, reunited, took mother to meditation. Can you believe it? She go and found the mother, took mother to meditation. Then mother practiced with me more than 3 years. I call her grandma. She loves me. She called me 3 times per day to check my meals. Then daughter and mother become a good friends. And I call, nickname for the daughter, I call a little saint. She's so beautiful, loving and kind and generous, doing all the good things. So then mother did the really good job. So one day this old woman came to me and said, Bante, I'm very old now. One day I'm going to die. The day I'm dying, I want to see you. So you have to promise me the day I'm dying, please come to my deathbed and please chant for me. It's perfectly work. She was in the nursing home. I went to the nursing home to chant for her. She cannot respond at all. But I was chanting. While I'm chanting, because she's a chanter too, she learned how to chant with me. While I was chanting, I opened my eyes. I was looking at her. I saw all the tears going down. Then that moment I realized even she cannot physically respond, she can hear. That's why she's crying. The moment I finished my chanting, she passed away. Now think about these two beautiful women. Because of self-love, they heal, they took care of each other. So therefore, this holiday season, what I'm asking you, I know you want to change the world. My favorite quote is, world is too big for you to change. World is too big for you to change, but your inner world is a perfect size. That's my favorite quote. Therefore, don't try to change the world. Change yourself, then you can change whole world. So loving kindness, self-love is the most important practice in your spiritual journey. Self-love. So therefore, I'm asking you all, please taking care of your mind. Not only your mind, please taking care of your body. Even you are taking care of your body lovingly, there are no 100% solution for your physical body. One day it will get sick, one day we all have to die. But still we can take care of it as long as we live. But always we have 100% answer for your mind. Therefore, meditation works. Loving kindness works. Compassion works. So if you practice every single day, I'm asking for you to practice 2 hours per day. No, just kidding. Don't do that. No, I'm not asking you to practice 2 hours per day. How about, can you practice 2 minutes loving kindness meditation every morning? You can repeat yourself after you make your coffee. I am well, I am happy, I am peaceful. I am well, I am happy, I am peaceful. Then prepare your day to go and meet people, go to your job. Then smile to each person. So if you want to practice loving kindness, no need to sit down. No need to have a cushion. No need to have a chair. While you are driving, you can practice loving kindness. While you are talking to somebody, you are practicing loving kindness. How beautiful, right? So therefore, practice meditation, taking care of your body. That means your spiritual life is balanced. So when I go to gym to exercise, I meet some of my students. They have beautiful bodies. They are well built, so happy about their physical body. When I am talking to them, their minds are suicidal. They know how to take care of their body, but they don't know how to taking care of their minds. Then I meet another group of people. They are so into their mind, they totally ignoring their bodies. This is called imbalance. So the person who balance meditation, always practicing loving kindness for the mind, practicing loving kindness for the body. So when you are practicing loving kindness, what will happen to you? What will happen to you? First thing, change your personality. Change your personality. So you become totally different, loving and kind person. How beautiful that. When somebody is angry in your family, do you like that person? I don't think so. Some people don't want to live with angry people. So therefore, if somebody loving and kind, you want to be with that person. You want to close to that person. When somebody is angry, you want to run away. So when you are angry, what will happen? Your face becomes so ugly. Your face becomes so ugly. So I think University of Wisconsin, they made the research about self-compassion meditation. They put a wires to a Buddhist monk head and asked him to practice self-love. What they found, when somebody practice self-compassion meditation, boosting their immune system. When you get angry, what will happen to you? You are poisoning your blood. That means that poison blood going all over your bloodstream. Then your face becomes so ugly. When every day, when you are getting angry, every day you are keep your face ugly, and so that negative emotion will come to your face. So therefore, what I'm asking, love is the most important spiritual, self-love is the most important spiritual practice in our lives. So modern day, people accept that. How you are going to see self-love in the modern day? When you are getting to an airplane, before we take off, they give us a safety instructions. One of them is put your oxygen mask first before you assist other person. Do you believe that? Yes, you will listen to that. So that's what Buddha said 2600 years ago. Love yourself before you love others. It's totally beautiful teaching. Love yourself before you love others. Therefore, this morning, this holiday season, what I'm asking, if you want to find happiness, contentment, joy, balance in your life, learn spiritual journey, learn to be selfish. Okay, selfish, that's what I mean. If you selfish in good way, then you don't have, you know, the real selfishness to the world. Then you are ready to serve the world. When I was a little monk, because I became a monk age 11, right? I was an angry little monk. Can you believe angry little monk? Now people call me Bhante Sujata, the loving kindness monk. So how come angry little monk turn into loving kindness monk? Practice, practice, practice. So therefore, today, this holiday season, New Year is coming. I'm asking you all, please find 2 minutes for yourself every single day to taking care of yourself, your mental attitude, your emotions, your feelings, your negativities. I guarantee if you practice self-love 7 consecutive days, you are going to change your life. If not, I'm going to quit. Just kidding. So therefore, remember to repeat those 3 words to yourself. I am well, I am happy, I am peaceful. I am well, I am happy, I am peaceful. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
And as we prepare to leave this place, continue your journey in love. Care for one another and care for this, our earth. Do justice and make peace. And as you go, Know that whatever taste or touch you've had in this time and virtual place of hope, joy, love, peace, loving kindness, that goes with you out into the world. We are different for having spent this time together. So remember, live boldly and with thanksgiving.